Hey guys, welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. Today's video is going to be different, but there's an important lesson here, and I think we all need to hear and learn about it. And because of it, I'm going to declare that DeFi is here to stay. Not only is it here to stay, it's essential at this point, and I'm going to talk about why. There's two big topics that covers and relates to everything I'm going to talk about. And that is Grayscale. They recognizing DeFi is here to stay, and they will be listing a DeFi trust. And also the big story of the day, of course, is Robinhood and all these brokerages now banning trading of GameStop and others. They're basically limiting free trade, and that should not happen. So that is the main theme for today's stream, why DeFi is here to stay and why it's essential more than ever. So thanks for tuning in, guys. As always, I have these streams 11 a.m. Central Standard Time every single day, and I am having live streams at night too. I've been having a lot of them, so make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and make sure that you follow me on Twitter and Facebook so you don't miss out on any of my videos. All right, those of you guys that tuned in, welcome and thank you. Let me change my screen and let me get started. Well, if this would start, here we go. Okay, starting out with Bitcoin real quick. Bitcoin's at 32,400. So better than yesterday. We're having a good recovery with Bitcoin, right? We're still stuck in between this, you know, the top of 34.5 and the bottom of 30,000. We're still hanging in there, but overall, Bitcoin is strong and it's coming back. However, besides Bitcoin, the rest of the market is doing fantastic. Altcoins are doing good. You could see that pretty much everything today is in green, and Dogecoin is pumping right now. I'm gonna get to why, and also a lot of DeFi coins are pumping today too. So that relates to the main thing, the main topic. Of course, let's go back. Let's go back a few days and let's talk about GameStop. GameStop, as you can see, today is not doing so good. Today is the first time in a long time where GameStop actually came down. And that's because you could see it constantly gets halted, and because basically all the brokerages and the very popular Robinhood app has started restricting trading of GameStop. They're limiting free trade, and they're doing this without any cause. Basically, they're being pressured. They're being pressured probably by the hedge funds themselves, who has been losing billions upon billions and billions of dollars, right? They're getting pressure from the SEC probably because SEC probably suspect there's a lot of manipulating going on, although they can't really prove it at this point. Robinhood, someone mentioned in channel, they are trying to do an IPO, so they have to look good. But Robinhood, basically, they didn't lead the way, but now they're following, because yesterday, TD Ameritrade said that they were going to restrict trading GameStop and AMC and Nokia and others, right? Then Robinhood decided to follow, and because of all the reasons I just mentioned, right? So this kind of shows you that, yeah, I mean, when you have a centralized entity, centralized company that's led by people that's driven just purely based on greed, right? They're not looking out for they're not looking out for the interests of the people. They're looking out for themselves, right? So in this case, they're obviously doing this they're looking out for themselves. So they're limiting free trade, and every single brokerage is following, because after Robinhood declared this, people thought, okay, maybe we can move to some other apps or brokerages like Webull. And then all of a sudden, Webull decided to do the same thing, right? And what is the cause for this? Just because a bunch of people from Reddit and others, they decided that they believe in GameStop and retailers that are being shorted like crazy, they're going to fight back against Wall Street, and they're buying and buying and buying. Is that illegal? No. That's what the free market is supposed to be. Whatever something is worth is what people are paying for it, what they declare it's worth. If people declare that GameStop should be worth $400 per share, it should be $400 per share. But as you can see, it's not very fair right now. It's not a fair fight. So the hedge funds, they didn't know what to do. SEC probably didn't know what to do. So they probably put a lot of pressure on these brokerages, and now, you know what, they're getting shut down left and right, left and right. So if you have GameStop or AMC or any of these others, the only option you have is to sell. You can't, it's not like crypto where it's not like you could, move your shares to another brokerage, right? It's not like you could transfer a BTC from Binance to Coinbase to Gemini. It's not like that at all. You have no option. You can't buy anymore. So the only thing you could do is sell, right? So that is why probably GameStop and others are coming down. And it just kind of shows you why DeFi is required. DeFi is very broad, decentralized finance, but the whole point is smart contracts, right? Makes everything incorruptible, basically, if you think about it. With smart contracts, with the blockchain, everything is basically dictated by the free market, by the open market. There's no one in the middle that will say, okay, all of a sudden, I'm just going to shut you out. I'm going to make sure that you can't buy. You could only sell, right? That's the beauty of DeFi. That's why I think it's going to stay. It's definitely going to stay. And DeFi is a broad term. There's a lot of things in DeFi. There's lending, there's DEXs, right? Now there's derivatives, there's synthetic tokening. There's a lot of things to DeFi. But I think the next generation of what you're probably going to see a lot of is trading, derivative trading, trading of synthetic items such as stocks, right? And other things. I think there's already a lot of DEXs out there, and these projects are building up. But after this, I think there's going to be a lot more emphasis paid upon DeFi projects going forward. So yeah, I just want to mention that off the bat. I even think it's ridiculous. I warn people not to get in on GameStop or AMC because I do think it was too high. But still, I think this is ridiculous in terms of what they're doing, and this is the only way they can do it. I mean, this is the only way they could stop people from buying, basically, right? So yeah, it's just really, really unfortunate, right? If we had a DEX that allowed free trading without any intervention of actually publicly traded stocks, which I know that doesn't exist, and it'll be very, very hard to get that going. But if there was, think about the amount of traffic. Think about how many people will be moving to it at this point in time. Literally, you would have millions of people switch to it, right? And I'm betting you someone is working on that. All right, so that's number one. That's number one. Of course, what's going on, the shenanigans, not good, not good. The prime example of why centralized companies and entities sometimes can't be trusted. Number two is Grayscale. Grayscale, the big investment company of the crypto space. I've talked about Grayscale plenty in terms of their Bitcoin trust, but they are filing for 5 new trusts. Right? They already have a lot. They have Ethereum Trust. They have Ethereum Classic Trust. They even have like a Stellar Trust, a Litecoin Trust. They have a lot. Ethereum Trust is actually growing pretty well, but now they are expanding, and they are expanding into DeFi. So the 5 that was filed. Now, this document does say, and Grayscale does say, just because they're filing, it does not mean they're going to come out with it, but most likely these are the 5 targets, and most likely they will be created in the future. But the one for DeFi is Aave. And I've been talking about Aave for a long time, right? I've been talking about the 2 that I trust the most, Uniswap and Aave, and looks like Grayscale is paying attention. So one trust is for Aave, and then they have another one for Polkadot, which is very, very popular right now. Cosmos, also Cardano, many people love that, and Monero. I'm really surprised by Monero. I honestly think Monero will not go through. So out of the 5, I think the 4 that will go through for sure is Aave, Dot, Atom, and ADA, right? Monero, I just don't see it. I don't see how regulators will allow it to happen, especially since everything is conducted privately, right? And they want to track transactions. So this is pretty big. This is pretty big. basically once this once these trusts gets established, I do think a lot of institutional investors, they will look at DeFi, especially the attention that it's gaining right now, the need for DeFi. Some very prominent people, even Mark Cuban has come out and Chamath has come out. They support the Wall Street guys from, they support the Reddit guys. I forgot what Wall Street Buys, whatever that subreddit is called. They support them, and they kind of hate how things are run right now, right? And you know what? Maybe a lot of institutional investors after this, they'll be looking into DeFi and guess, what's the easiest way to get involved with DeFi, right? Go buy into a Grayscale trust, and at least they're going to have one for Aave, right? Who knows if there's going to be other ones introduced. So the two big things I want to talk about: Grayscale about to enter DeFi, and of course what we're seeing right now with limited free trading. It's not free trading anymore. It's pretty obvious it's not free trading. If it's not free trading, that's not a free market, right? And that's not a good thing. But besides those points, what else? Well, I just want to show you guys this. I haven't brought up DeFi Pulse in a while, but the total locked-in value for DeFi continued to go up and up and up and up and up, and now it's at $26 billion. That's a good amount. That's a good amount. DeFi, basically, I think as this grows, it's actually very beneficial. Besides the things I just talked about, but as the total locked-in value grows, right, shows that a lot of people are simply holding. There's no need to make rash decisions. There's no need to panic sell. There's no need to try to swing trade or day trade all the time. They're simply locking in, right, collecting interest. It's helping holders in a way. And also, it does allow a lot of other things going on. Like, for example, DEXs. DEXs need liquidity, right? So locked-in value also helps DEXs and helps them grow and help more people get involved. So if you look at the top companies, obviously Maker is up there. Maker has been there for a long time with their algorithmic stablecoin DAI. But Aave is the one that is growing and growing, right? That's the one that Grayscale is looking at. They are a lending company. And then you have Compound, you have Uniswap, the largest DEX out there. And then you got Curve Finance, which is a DEX, which is one that's just for stable coins. And then you have like SushiSwap. And this is another one I want to talk about real quick, because SushiSwap is really, really gaining. They really built... they changed their reputation after they kind of merged with Yearn Finance, right? And I do think they could be a good candidate in terms of some good growth in the future. But before I get to Sushi, Uniswap, in case you guys don't know, and I talked about this in my stream last night, Uniswap has been pumping and it continues to pump, and that's because not only is it the biggest DEX and a lot of people are utilizing them, but they do have a new version coming out, version 3. And a lot of people are really hyped up about it because version 3 will give more use cases for Uni and how you could stake it for governance and how you could use it for other things like faster transactions and so forth, right? So a lot of people is very, very, very bullish on Uniswap. Also, Aave, I mentioned, look at their liquidity pool. This is a huge amount. People love to stake on Uniswap and borrow. Stake and borrow on Aave, and you can do so with many tokens out there, right? But SushiSwap, I mentioned how they kind of legitimize themselves because one of their founders, the chief chef or something like that, kind of pulled an exit scam and kind of didn't, came back. But anyways, there was some controversy, but that's been kind of hashed out. They merged with Yearn Finance. As you saw, they have a large amount of collateral locked in. And I just found out, this was probably just 3 weeks ago, but they are planning on integration with Polkadot, because right now all DeFi projects, they're trying to figure out what to do because there's so much congestion on Ethereum. So they're going to utilize one of the parachains called Moonstream and actually basically try to port themselves over to Polkadot. So Polkadot fans have something to look forward to in terms of a DeFi DEX, right? So that is also going for them. I think that's, oh yeah, that's I think there's one last story I want to cover, and that's this: Wall Street Bets, right? So Wall Street Bets, the Reddit forum that's behind the tremendous pumps of GameStop and others, right? Now this is unconfirmed, and this could be just someone, spreading false information, but supposedly there's an account that's not officially affiliated with Wall Street Bets, but is tied to them. Basically, that account started asking about Dogecoin, started asking about meme stuff, meme coins, and you know what? He was asking if Dogecoin has ever been to $1. So after that tweet or series of tweets, Dogecoin started pumping to the moon. So those of you guys that's wondering if Dogecoin pumped up due to Elon's tweet or something, no, it's because of the association with Wall Street Bets. And who knows what could happen, right? If these guys can pump up GameStop to $400 to like a $30 billion evaluation, if they actually do come in and they all pump Dogecoin, who knows where Dogecoin could be? Maybe it can go to $1. I don't know, right? But that's the reason why Dogecoin has pumped up. I've been neutral on Dogecoin in the past. Basically, they are just a meme coin. They serve no purpose other than for people's pleasure, I guess, to entertain people. But who knows if this is going to be the next target or not. I did see someone super chat, D-More. The cover up is more criminal than the crime. Rotten piece to every brokerage. I mean, it is. I mean, it is a big thing. I don't think people realize it. I think a lot of people, they think this is normal, or they don't care about stocks or anything like that, which is fine. But you got to think about this. This is really limiting free trade. This is really limiting the whole purpose of the stock market, where you could dictate basically, the price of companies, right? What a company's worth, basically what people are willing to pay for what they think the company is worth, right? And if you have this kind of shenanigans going on, where you can have a company and say, okay, and it could be one of the biggest companies, and say, okay, we're not going to allow you to buy stock of that company, right? That's really huge. That's taking power away from the people, and basically they're dictating what you can buy and what you can't buy, right? So if I was like GameStop or AMC, I would actually question this. I would actually maybe even pull a lawsuit on these brokerages and ask them what the reason is for limiting trade of my company's stock. I bet there's gonna be repercussions for this. I just don't know what it is, but they have not given any real reason why they did this, other than because of all the bad publicity. That's pretty much it. And no, you can't go to Webull, because Webull has blocked GameStop too and AMC trading. They have stopped. They caved in too. So I don't know if there's any brokerages left that still allows trading, or they're all go follow suit. I don't know. But this is a travesty, right? This is a big reason why DeFi is more essential now than ever, right? You need to have free trade. Otherwise, what's the point, right? Otherwise, the government could just buy out what they want and just control what you can buy, right? You need to have free trade. So that's why DEXs and DeFi is here to stay. It's a necessity, and I'm looking forward to it growing, so that you can have actually exchanges and brokerages and stuff like that. That's not controlled by anyone. That's not controlled by any entity. And you could actually do free trading, right? Without any intervention. And I'm looking forward to that. So, all right. That's pretty much it in terms of what I want to cover. So I'll turn it back to you guys. But overall, Bitcoin is doing good today, above 32,000 again. The entire market is doing pretty good. Not back to 1 trillion yet, but the way things are going, very possibly soon. And you can see most things. Polkadot, is back up. Cardano's up. Chainlink is up. Stellar even is up. And then you got a lot of things that's up today. A lot of things, right? Where's Dogecoin? Dogecoin It's still around 2 cents, up 156% today. That's pretty amazing. If the Wall Street bet, guys really decide to pump Dogecoin, who knows? It could be top 10 in no time. All right, I'll turn to you guys for Q&A. Does ETH2 replace ETH1? Eventually, yes. They're kind of two side projects right now. Or, I mean, one side project, Ethereum 2.0 with their beacon chain. That's ongoing, and then you still have Ethereum regular. Eventually, they're going to merge in 2022 and become one big thing. And then they'll get rid of proof of work then. Can Coinbase do the same thing Robinhood did? Yeah, they can. They can. And they have been. Not to the extent where they say, okay, you can't buy a certain token or coin, but they have been known to ban people left and right. Just people in this chat can verify. I can verify. They'll just ban people for no reason. I had an inactive account that I didn't use for a long time. I tried to use it again. They said, nope, you're gone. No reasons why it was banned, and I can never get another Coinbase account, no matter how hard I try, because they don't tell me why. And a lot of people can attest to that. So in a way, yeah, Coinbase is also doing that, right? And of course, Coinbase and others, the ones that can onboard fiat, they all want KYC information, right? And they want to know where you live and stuff. So, I mean, in a way, they're already limiting you. Where if you look at a DEX, there's no limitation, right? But DEXs are still limited. Smaller liquidity pool, right? But they're building out. I've been spending a lot of time looking at a lot of these new projects. Almost every single one is a DeFi play. And they're all looking at different ways of, digitizing, creating NFTs or a synthetic token, or there's some kind of DEX or some kind of liquidity provider, or some kind of lending platform. I mean, there's a lot that's building out, right? And a lot of people are very excited about it. Obviously, you got to pay attention to which ones, because you don't know if you could trust them or not. But some of them have done really, really well. And a lot of projects have completely transited to basically just being a DeFi project and have really turned themselves around. I have not heard of Cake, but there are a few. Okay, I'm hesitant because there are a few DeFi projects I found recently. I've been just throwing them around within Patreon. Some of the members there have been looking into them, but there are a few that look quite promising. They're relatively low cap. I mean, they're low. They're not that low, but they're low enough where they're not on page one. But I haven't studied them long enough, so I'm hesitant to share what they are yet. But there are a lot of promising ones. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. And as I do more research, I'll share with you guys. But there are a lot. There's a lot that's being worked on right now. Sergey says Uniswap is not a bubble. I don't think so. I don't think Uniswap is a bubble. I don't think Aave is a bubble. I mean, there are times I mentioned that they do pump up quite a bit, then they come down, right? And then they take a breather for a little bit, and then they pump again. But every time they do it, they seem to get bigger and bigger, and they're moving up, right? So that's why I said Uniswap and Aave, they have a really good chance to be in the top 10, both of them, in the near future, because some of these are going to drop out. I do think XRP will eventually drop out. Litecoin could drop out. Bitcoin Cash could drop out. And even something like Binance Coin could drop out, and where Uniswap and Aave and others will move into the top 10. James, you say that average Joe will not use DeFi, too much risk. Well, but the thing is, dApp makers get better and better and better. if there's a better version of, say, Coinbase, better version of Gemini, where it's very easy to use within an app, you won't even know it's DeFi. That's the thing. Right now, you may be thinking, okay, connecting your wallet and stuff is difficult. But just think about this. Average Joes don't even know about Bitcoin either. They don't even know how to use Coinbase, right? If you know, you're already ahead of the game. But, you know, there's a learning curve. But that's why app makers, you know, they get better and better and better. They can make an app so seamless that you won't even know that you're using a DEX, right? Or utilizing any of these other liquidity providers or anything like that. And it's getting there already. It's getting there. Like Voyager, for example, I brought them up recently. If you use their app and you're buying on their app, you don't know where it's actually coming from, because they're a brokerage. They're not brokerage. They're a broker. They actually have they work with like a dozen of exchanges, and then they'll buy wherever they can get it from and at the cheapest price, right? And that's all integrated. You don't have to worry about it. Same thing with their staking. You just leave it in your wallet and that's it, right? So as long as dApp makers continue to make things easier for the general population, which I think they will, then people won't think it's difficult. They'll be oblivious that it's DeFi. It's just going to be there, right? Yes, I think a lot of people want to start a class action lawsuit against Robinhood, and you know what? They might win, because I don't think it's legal. I mean, technically, I guess it is, because there's rules and terms and stuff, and they basically have in their agreement probably they can suspend trading if they wanted to, but they better provide a really good reason. But yeah, I think a lawsuit against Robinhood is probably going to happen. If I was GameStop and others, I would go after Robinhood too and all the brokerages. What's a DEX with the low fees that allows fiat conversion? I don't believe there's one right now, Will. That's, I think, one of the main reasons why a lot of people, especially newcomers, don't use DEXs, because for fiat conversion, they're very limited, and all the ones you do have to, you basically give KYC information. Gene says, hey, don't say Dogecoin has no purpose. It's used on all the gambling sites. Well, I guess that is a purpose. So that's good. Injective protocol is one of those where it's a DEX for derivatives. So it's interesting what they're doing. They basically want you to trade on basically anything. You can have synthetic, oil, or synthetic stocks, or synthetic, just synthetic tokens overall, whatever people create, right? So injective protocol looks interesting. They're still a little bit early on, but if it catches on, it'll be pretty big. And I know there's people that like Phantom too, and Phantom has been pumping up recently a lot too, and that's the reason being because Phantom, they kind of transition themselves to Phantom Finance, and again, they're coming out with synthetic tokens, and they have a partnership with Injective so that their synthetic tokens can be traded on Injective's DEX. So there's a lot of ties right now like that, right? Everyone's trying to figure it out, and whoever can figure it out and make it the easiest to use will be the new Robinhood, basically a Robinhood replacement. I think that's the end goal, right? I have looked into Singularity.net. I don't like it. I don't like any AI plays in crypto because they're all just like a data marketplace for AI data, and I think it's just too early. So they were really hyped up in 2017. Now, not so much. And I don't even know why Sophia, the AI robot, needs to have a token. They don't. I understand. I'm just joking. But I think just AI AI data marketplace is too early. Doge donates more to nonprofits than other crypto. I have no clue. I just know that whoever started Dogecoin left the company, left the project, and he probably, and sometimes he bashes Doge. So I don't know what the deal is with that. Doge is up because there are rumors that Wall Street Bets is getting in on Doge. Whether or not they are or they aren't, or it's just some whale is spreading false news, we don't know. But there is a Twitter account that's somewhat affiliated, but it's also not officially affiliated with Wall Street Bets. It's basically asking about Dogecoin, asking about this meme coin, and asking if it ever hit $1 before. So that is the reason why Dogecoin started pumping today. I sold Dogecoin while pumping, and then I tried to buy it again, and it wouldn't let me. I don't know why it wouldn't let you, but and Bitcoin is still doing good. Slow recovery up, about halfway through. There's a good chance that it could hit 34.5 again. So I'm still waiting for Bitcoin to break above 34.5. D-More, the fact that Robinhood only allows sales of GME is what's going to get them sued. Stopping the sales completely would have been bad, yet not criminal. Yeah, I think you got it right there. I think all these brokerages, Robinhood, TD Ameritrade, even Webull, right? They're basically giving you no option, right? If it was one thing like, hey, we just halt trading altogether, I guess that's one thing, right? But then you couldn't do anything with the stock. So they have to allow you to do something with it. So they're just saying, okay, you could sell but not buy. So they're just making it one way. They're basically kicking you out, right? But the problem is you got to think about now everyone that has GameStop and AMC or whoever, they're selling, and it's causing massive selling pressure, right? Because there's no buying anymore because they're all limited. So that's artificially driving the price down, right? So that's not a free market anymore. That's not free trade anymore, because basically you're forcing people to only sell and they can't buy. So of course, if there's only sell pressure, no buy pressure, this is going to happen, right? So yeah, it's not right. It's not right at all, and it's probably illegal. So I'm curious to see what the lawsuit's gonna be like, and whether or not they win. So we'll see. But yeah, again, this kind of shows you why Grayscale. Why DeFi is definitely necessary. It's here to stay, and after this debacle, it's probably just gonna be more emphasis paid upon DeFi. And of course, another thing I mentioned is, of course, Grayscale is getting into it too. So they're about to list their Aave trust, and I think that's a big stepping stone too. Because if they're going to be offering this, that means institutions probably have been asking for it, probably been looking into it. Obviously, besides the DEX part, besides the trading part, the other big component is lending, right? Now you can lend and borrow without any middleman, right? It's set in code. It's set in code, and it's all done through smart contracts. You don't have to go to a bank and talk to a banker, and then they're going to do like all this information on you, right? And then basically they could tell you whether or not you get a loan or not. You don't need to do all that. You could get whatever you want through lending, and more people are taking advantage of that, right? I've always found that, just on a personal level, I always found that to be like backwards. Let's say you're someone with a tremendous amount of money. Let's say you want to buy a house that's $500,000, but you already have $400,000 of cash on hand. So you don't need to borrow like $100,000. You go to the bank, you're like, okay, I don't need to borrow $100,000. I have $400,000 in my name already, right? They don't care. All they care about is your credit history, right? Whether you have credit history, but say you don't, then you're denied. And also they want to know your income and all this stuff, right? But they don't care that you actually have $400,000 of cash already. So that always bothered me. Like, your assets don't mean anything. But with DeFi, that's not the case. If you want to borrow money, right? You have collateral, you have BTC to put down, you have ETH to put down, you have stable coins to put down. Well, you can put it down and take out a loan, and no one is going to ask for your credit history. No one's going to ask what your income is, right? It's all automated. So there's many benefits, if not all benefits, to DeFi lending and DEXs and everything else that's being worked on right now. Doge will pass XRP. Well, I've said this for a while. XRP is not going to go anywhere. They're not going to go anywhere until the settlement with SEC comes. And in the meantime, they may not drop, but they're not going to go flying up anymore. But while that's happening, everyone else, all these other projects, is going to slowly surpass them. Pretty soon, in the very near future, you go see Cardano and Chainlink both flip with XRP. So XRP is going to be at number 7 soon. And then if this trend continues with Uniswap and Aave and others, you're going to start seeing them come up. And then eventually XRP is going to be out of top 10. And I think that's coming. That's coming for sure. Unless somehow Ripple settles their SEC lawsuit right away. But that usually goes on for years. So that's probably going to be a while. Yeah, I mean, outside of DeFi, you got to think DeFi and crypto basically is trying to rewrite the rules on finance, right? With crypto, everyone is their own bank. And with DeFi now, everyone that is their own bank can now trade among each other, right? So the two really, if you look at it, crypto with DeFi together basically is trying to overthrow the whole entire financial industry, right? From central banks to brokerages, to payment processors. You don't need any of that anymore. You really don't. It could replace everything. So if you think about that, it's pretty powerful stuff. Did Elon tweet about Doge again? If he does, I mean, Doge is going to keep flying. But yeah, the new Plaid. There's 2 Plaids that's coming out. Plaid and Plaid Plus. In case Plaid wasn't enough. It's kind of crazy. And I just created a video about that yesterday. All right, I'm going to let you guys go. So today, Bitcoin is doing good. But the main topic is why DeFi is here to stay. Right? 2 big reasons, of course. Number 1 is this whole shenanigans, this basically illegal shutdown of free trade by Robinhood, TD Ameritrade, Webull, and everyone else. It's not good. It's not good. They're setting a precedent basically that these brokerages could do whatever they want. And it's no longer free trade. And they get to tell you exactly what you can buy and what you can sell. And that's very, very dangerous, right? So this shows that, yeah, centralized companies can't really be trusted. They can't really be trusted. They're not looking out for your best interest. They're looking out for their own best interest, right? Which is why DeFi is more important than ever. And of course, you have Grayscale that is about to enter DeFi space, about to come out the Aave Trust in the near future. That is also very, very big, very bullish. That shows that institutions are about to dive into DeFi. And just take a look at DeFi Pulse. Look at all these companies, right, that pretty much offering everything, and the total locked-in value continues to go up. So all these reasons added together shows that DeFi is definitely here to stay. It's not going to go away, and it's only going to grow from here, right? And as time goes on, I'm going to share with you some of these new projects that I find they're quite interesting. But I'm talking about it within Patreon, so in case you guys want to learn more, check out my Patreon page. If you want a crash course on Bitcoin, check out my Teachable page. And that is pretty much it. But yeah, since there's a lot of talk about XRP today, before you leave, take a look at this video and then have a good one. And then, you know, stay tuned for my possible live stream tonight. All right. Take care, guys. Take a look.
What do you think about Ripple?
Well, I mean, I think it's too centralized, but I definitely want to meet Chris Larson.